Right, welcome to Rose State Revolution. I'm Grey Hunter, and we will be playing this through. Now, I've got a few videos of this from an earlier state, but this is the pre-release, it's coming out in a couple of days. So, let's have a go. We'll leave teach you how to play, so I'm assuming a lot of people haven't watched my yearly videos. And honestly, the game's at the best state now. So, 100% difficulty, that seems fine. And of course, I am the hunter. So, if you don't know what this is, it's a builder, like nation builder with some roguelike elements. But they've added in stuff like unlocking advisors, stuff like that. Still gorgeous, again. This time I must do better, so I accidentally skipped through it, but yes. It wakes up telling you you've been poisoned.
In Basenji today, there is a mood of jubilation as thousands crowd the streets in celebration. The first ever democratic election in the People's Republic of Basenji is a success. 5 years ago, the monarchy was replaced by a transitional government. And now, finally, after great struggle, democracy has come to Basenji. For the first time in their turbulent history, both Basenji and ethnic Karifi are voting for a government of their choice. 12 political parties campaigned, representing a wide political spectrum, with the largest, the Basenji Nationalist Party, sweeping the election with 72% of the vote.
Good morning, Your Excellency. My name is Sabriya. I have been assigned as your political strategist.
And I am Yusuf. I will be serving as your military attaché.
The first task before you is to appoint cabinet roles for representatives from across our great nation.
These are critical positions. Once appointed, cabinet members are constitutionally protected. They cannot be removed from office.
Indeed. You will be stuck with these ministers, for better or worse. I would advise you listen to their needs.
And I say look for loyalty. There will be hard days ahead. We will need a cabinet that is on our side, no matter what.
Excellency, it's time for us to form the government responsible for building Basenji's glorious future.
Alright, so the first mistake they made is not being able to remove cabinet ministers. So, I've got choice of a bunch of these guys. Each one's got their own advantages and disadvantages. Like, lowest cost of buildings. Development. It's fine. Military natural resources offers rates of 0 cost. Choose an erratic those who shoot randomly disappear. His upgrades will only ever... I think let's have the corrupt guy in finance, it was funny. And then we'll put the popular guy in charge of the army.
Very good. Know that every 12 months you may appoint a new cabinet minister for an unstaffed ministry, should you choose to do so. More ministers mean more opportunities to do great things. And more people to keep happy. Excellency, while you get settled in your new office, I have scheduled your agenda for the next few weeks. Are you interested in hearing it? Most actions, aside from giving orders to units, I've learned that our national power plant has not received a fuel shipment in weeks.
The connecting roads were made unusable during the Civil War.
By constructing a new road, oil will automatically be tracked. Building roads costs 1 action point per month and treasury funds. Note that it is possible to both upgrade and bulldoze roads. Click on any road segment, including the one you just built, and select.
Manipulating the camera should be straightforward.
Yeah,
you can also rotate the map
don't need that.
These buttons will immediately pan the camera to buildings of specific importance. Resource producer. After the Civil War, the United Nations established aid camps to we must start to produce our own food and not rely on the agricultural fields can only be placed on green terrain. From the right side.
So, yes. Bit hand-holdy, but yeah, so we're going to need to put agricultural fields in. I think up here is a good place for them. We can put them up near the road, but away from the cities a little bit. There we go.
Over time, Basenji's cities will demand more than just food to stay content. Urban citizens who purchase these goods from our state-run producers put money back into our treasury. As food supply increases, you can dismantle a UN camp. I would suggest doing this only once every few months because removing UN aid workers will come with a severe penalty to our diplomatic influence. For now, though, I think we can weather it. Click on a UN camp and dismantle it now.
Bye-bye, UN.
We could spend funds and an action point to build a second agricultural field to support the anticipated growth in our city's demands next month. Alternatively, we could address the health crisis currently facing the province of Sabah. Constructing a regional hospital adjacent to a city somewhere in this province would provide immediate care for... The choice is yours.
Alright, we're going to build a hospital.
And construct another agricultural field. Or build a regional hospital adjacent to a city somewhere in the province of Sabah to care for our wounded.
That looks a bit more central than people from here could come. I know it doesn't work like that, but yeah. Let's get that health up.
Well done, Excellency. Thank you for putting your faith in me. You may have noticed that buildings consume both workers and power. Getting more power is a question of building more power plants. Getting more workers, however, is a much bigger problem. For now, it is prudent to spread your buildings out between your provinces, so you don't end up with a worker shortage.
So this here is the number of workers at the end, so I've got quite a few at the moment.
Excellency, Sabria, apologies for the interruption. Our military is in a state of disrepair.
Right, military base. I want this to be central in my nation. This is where I'm thinking, because then they guys can get all the way into the different provinces. There are a terrorist group that's going to pop up at some point, and right, that's it. All 4 actions of the month.
Good morning, Excellency.
Yusuf, the local news is reporting something difficult to believe. An industrious shepherd appears to have hybridized a bunch of old cars to produce an armored bipedal tank.
I may have made a big mistake.
Why would anyone do that?
Why would you not build a mech? If you had the ability to build a mech, why would you not build a mech?
Because it's awesome?
Yeah.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? I am stuck inside this armored bipedal tank and have lost systems control.
Although this is probably also a threat to our national security. Thankfully, we can use that military base to recruit some new troops and send them to disable it. We will need to train a military unit. All units have a role to play in combat, and it is for you to decide which unit to train. I would, however, suggest that you not train the SAM truck. It cannot attack ground-based units, including whatever that thing is.
I'm gonna go for the
Order our
airborne.
troops to disable the civilian bipedal tank by first clicking on the unit, then click dragging a line to the target.
Oh, they've changed that slightly, that's good. Right. Airborne are expensive, but they're rapid movements. At this point, I feel like I need the rapid movement.
We have pulled the very frightened shepherd from the wreckage. Hopefully his insurance covers all the damage he caused.
Thank you. I spent so much of my time thinking about how to create a giant homemade walking tank out of old cars and recovered munitions. I never stopped to think if I should.
So yes, this country is going to be interesting to Russian gas.
Right. Well, Excellency, this seems as good a time as any to introduce your ministries. This is where you set all the policies specific to our nation. Click on the Ministry of setting our tax policy to regressive will increase our tax base if our people's prosperity is low. Our nation...
I'm gonna go regressive. Meh.
Good. Let's check in now with the Ministry of Defense. Over time, a minister will research new policies for our nation. If you keep them happy by fulfilling the requests they routinely bring to us, that research gets complete.
The minister is of the view that we might be able to learn something from this bizarre...
You can choose which policy opportunities a minister is going to research by clicking on it. Choose a policy opportunity for the minister. The ministers who are not given research priorities will create their own based on their personal interests. In fact, particularly belligerent ministers may do their own. We should suggest policy opportunities for the remaining 3 ministers to research now.
Alright. So, cash is always a major problem here. We're going to go for the prosperity and legal immigrant improvement of offshore banking. Vishendi is going to be one of those places. I also like shoveling cash into there. Here. I'm gonna go for solar power. I want to move away from oil as much as quickly as possible. And here. I can go for a spaceport. That would be a nice entertainment boost. Yeah, let's go for that one.
Great. Research will be conducted faster when the minister has a great deal of respect for you. Unhappy ministers may not do any research at all. Excellency, our economy is pretty stagnant right now, which will limit our opportunities to better this. Very good. I've got some more ideas on how we can increase our national treasury. A lot of things outside of our control can affect Basenji's monthly revenue. City growth, immigration, the price of commodities, our transportation infrastructure. So what you're looking at is our minister's best estimates based on a snapshot of the country as it stands today.
That's very important to understand, is that this isn't going to be right half the time. I've had like 4 months in a row when I've lost like 20, even though it said -4. It's quite random and quite hard to understand, but yeah. If it's generally red, bad.
Lowering provincial expenses helps a little, but it will also take its toll on the general well-being of those provinces. But look at these ministry expenses. You may want to change some policies in the Ministry of Development later on.
Yeah.
Ongoing unit maintenance costs are something to keep a close eye on as well. It's better to use a few units well than grow a bloated military.
Because we have a Minister of Finance, we also have the option of taking out loans in the forms of bonds or an IBRD loan. The interest repayment terms for these are not kind, so I wouldn't suggest doing this unless we were in a real emergency.
Inevitably, the best way for us to have nice things is to find resources and sell them. Later, we can use those resources to craft more valuable goods and sell them instead.
We may need to consider a few temporary provincial funding cuts until we get our economy jump-started. I'll leave it to you to decide where, but ultimately, I propose you cut them.
Right. Tourism and special events. Sorry, lads. There we go. Pause.
We should create a surveyor unit to scout for new resources. Click on the Palace of Nijimura. By
Survey.
Our Excellency, we have used up all our actions.
I can't even move him. Alright.
Good morning, Excellency.
Click on the surveyor you've just trained to
Excellency.
reveal all the potential resources in Basenji.
Ooh,
By exploring
oil.
these sites, Another oil deposit! Well, this is helpful. Not all resource deposits pan out, so
Let's build a new refinery on that oil deposit.
Oink, oink, and oink. I'll have to connect that up with roads.
Now our nation has 2 oil refineries. One is sending oil to our power plant. Perhaps we can sell the oil from this one to one of our neighbors. At least, while we don't have a demand for relations with those other nations we share a border with can be tricky. If we can maintain a strong
don't the chicken people.
relationship, we can mutually prosper. Our relationship will depend greatly on their interests, which are not immediately known to us. In addition to their relationship with us, these neighboring states also have their own internal stability to be concerned about. A collapsing neighbor means lots of refugees seeking asylum in our borders, in addition to other challenges to manage. Take notice as well of the 3 major powers interested in influencing the future of the region: the United States of America, the Russian Federation, and the People's Republic of China. If any one of these powers sees us as a threat to their interests, we may find ourselves in a war we cannot possibly win. On the other hand, if we can eventually improve our relations to the point where an alliance is achieved, the others may leave us alone. Let's see if any of our neighbors happen to have an interest in Basenji crude oil. Once they're on the phone,
Trade, export, oil.
Excellency, we have used up all our actions.
Now, I might be able to build more roads because that was part of the action, wasn't it? Already spent that for this turn. So yes, I can build roads and connect up all our neighbours. There we go. That's looking pretty good. What I might also do is run a road in between these two here. Because otherwise these people have got to go all the way around there. Right. So we have a nice positive budget.
Excellency. Very good. Make sure your surveyor is on his way to find new resources for us. Over time, resource-producing buildings will experience corruption. Greasy hands will start cutting into our national bottom line. You should hire a facilities inspector from the palace at Majimra to travel between... Perfect. The facilities inspector has an action that allows you to eliminate corruption that accrues in a resource-producing building.
Surveyors, facilities inspectors, and clerics can consume an action point to double their movement distance. Keep this in mind if you find yourself with extra action points.
Excellency, Sabria, apologies for the interruption. Again. Intelligence reports that a small contingent of rebels and dissidents calling themselves the Basenji Liberation Front are on the move toward what's left of that armored bipedal vehicle.
The Basenji Liberation Front? They're a small union of various interest groups with the united goal of destabilizing our democracy and removing you from power. What could they want with a pile of metal junk in the deep desert?
Regardless, reports indicate they are armed and we must respond with force, Excellency. If the public feels we can't keep them safe, we may end up playing right into the insurgents' agenda. Our units start fiercely loyal to our regime, Excellency. Just be aware that the military is looking for you to make smart decisions. Sending units on suicide missions, making poor choices, and making our nation into a laughingstock may result in our soldiers doubting your leadership and side with the enemy. Every unit can only attack once per month, and we're anticipating at least a couple targets. We may need to field more troops. Eliminate the BLF units before they are able to reach the wreckage.
Right, so yes, we are going to need some more troops. Infantry and a mortar team, I think. What can my airborne do? Not much apart from moving towards position.
Excellency.
I could head off and kill one of those guys.
Basenji. Excellency. Excellency. On our way. Excellency. Understood.
Alright, so yes, at least we got the bridge to protect us there. Okay. So we're now getting a large amount of cash. Let's review our budget. I think it is time to increase these back up. See what they do. Oh. That was bad timing.
Good morning, Excellency. Every unit can only attack once per month, and we're anticipating at least a couple targets. We may need to field more troops.
Excellency. For Basenji. Excellency.
Right. Where's my mortar team gone? What's the corruption down here anyway? Not much, but I think I need to get her moving up towards this place here.
Yes. I go right away.
Excellency?
Alright, you can get going for this turn.
Excellency?
Nothing noteworthy.
Excellency?
6 turns to get around to there, but it needs to be done.
Excellency.
Alright, blowing my food off was not good for me. Losing that mortar team was also not good for me.
Excellency. For
I can
Basenji.
wipe them out with my second airborne unit. There we go, we're dealing with the BLF quite nicely now. I will need to rebuild another food supply, however. Right, Intel's got a good amount of power. Still got one more.
Excellency, on our way.
Use the infantry, there's no point in not. They're attacking.
Good morning, Excellency.
Excellency, for Basenji. Excellency, for Basenji.
There we go.
Great work, Excellency. It would be prudent to have forces spread throughout the nation to address whatever threats may come our way.
Excellency,
So yes, that sounds like a good idea. We'll move you up to there.
Excellency,
I would like you to move down to here.
for Basenji.
Finding the right hex to click on. There we go.
Excellency, as important as our national defense is, I will show you how to stay in power by balancing the differing interests of liberals and conservatives, religious and secular citizens, even urban and rural populations. Let's start by examining how we are doing, province by province. Click on Banifa in the right sidebar.
Right, I'm going to come back to this in the next video. Hope you like this. Like, subscribe, join me next time.